This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Monday. Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna, and today we've got the opportunity of talking to Andrea Davis. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yes, we're excited to get to know you, Andrea. So take us back to the beginning. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you find yourself in real estate?
So I'm originally from Michigan and moved to Florida about 3 years ago. I owned a cleaning company up there, and I always really enjoyed working with the real estate agents, but knew that we were going to be moving somewhere warmer, so I didn't really want to get my foot in the door then. So we waited until we got down here, and I was fired up and ready to go. So I jumped right in. Got my license December of 2019, and then started training in January of 2020. And, COVID hit.
Classic.
It was an awesome roller coaster. So nothing for about 6 months happened at all. And I just kept being very persistent. And then, closed my first deal in June of 2020 and then closed 9 deals in June of 2021. And it's just been roaring ever since.
Absolutely. And Andrea, tell me how you got introduced to EXP. Was it your first brokerage? Who introduced you to it? What was your thought process about making the switch? Because I know it's tough. You got to break up with brokers and you're skeptical of it. So just take me through that whole thing. Leave out no details.
Well, some I should, but anyway. No, it was great. I started another brokerage that had an incredible training program, met a lot of great people that, some of them I'm still friends with today. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Got a good base foundation and then moved over. I was introduced. We actually had somebody come in, Gary Wilson. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not. Probably he's pretty big, the global investor team at EXP. So he came in to do a training at the brokerage where I was, and I fell in love with the idea of what he was doing. And at the end of the day, I found out that was EXP, and that was, the investor stuff. Have since worked with lots of investors, but also buyers, sellers, grown my own team, and just really came in full force and been moving pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And, were you ever skeptical of EXP? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Like,
for
just,
sure. And
of course not.
Yeah. And I think everybody is, because they're like, oh yeah, that's the one multi-level marketing company. And it's not. It's so much more than that. And it's not that at all. I thought, the way I explain it to people when I'm having the conversation is I say, here's the thing. A lot of corporations, when you go get a job offer, you revenue share. And if the company's profitable, you get a small cut of that. And that's great. That's an awesome incentive. A lot of people, go into their careers and use that as one of the leverage tools or part of the reason why they join a particular corporation out of college. And so that's an awesome program. But if you were to take that and amp it up to your direct production is going to pay you on a revenue share, for, based on how much is made versus how much the company actually profited. Now it doesn't matter. Like it's personal, Mm-hmm. So at first it was just like, well, that sounds kind of scammy. Like you sign people up, and then it was weird. But, getting into it, it's just like, it's incredible.
Right.
What better than an agent-focused brokerage? So, yeah.
And you touched on a lot of the great things that EXP has to offer, Andrea. The rev share is really cool. Of course, we've got stock options, collaboration. opportunity to build teams or run as a solo agent. It's pretty much a BYOB, build your own business, right? Which is really cool with EXP, because a lot of brokerages, they don't offer the same kind of deal. So Andrea, what's your favorite thing about being with EXP, or maybe something you didn't expect about EXP that now you really love about it? What keeps you here?
So I'm definitely here for life. I have no interest in going anywhere. Every time I have an experience with EXP, it reminds me of why I'm there. And I think it really comes down to the people, the systems, everything that they have. It's constantly evolving and growing. They're 5 seconds ahead of me, which is really hard to do because I'm a very high driver. So it's like, to have somebody that's already figured that, I'm like, wow, this is impressive, because usually I run into a problem and then I'm the one that has to go and solve it and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I found out, I had a situation that I had to deal with at my board, and was able to meet my broker in person. And I just thought, what an incredible experience. The first brokers that I went to, I hadn't met my broker for months. I thought it was like this really big, high honor to be able to meet the broker. And then come to find out it's not all that, it's definitely not. And for EXP to have one, designated managing broker over the whole entire state of Florida, and for me to be able to have multiple conversations with her over this issue, to where she's just calling my personal cell phone and advising me what to do and helping me through the situation, which had an incredible outcome. And I just thought, wow, she's got how many agents? And there's lots of managing brokers, and I love every single one of them. I love when I get to go in and have conversations with them. But for them to all just know who you are, and for her to take that time, it just, to me, that's valuable.
Right.
I don't care what you're doing. That's what you need.
Absolutely. And Andrea, you said that having somebody there, meeting them, it's important to you, it's what you need. But we also have this metaverse. We've got this virtual world. And how have you found that you were able to adapt to that? Was that scary for you, or did you like it?
Well, it was scary, but it was scary in the sense that, I kind of came into it saying, oh, okay, so now I got to play video games. I'm not conforming and playing video games like everybody, because I'm just not a gamer. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine for people that love it, but I thought,
Yeah.
But it's actually secretly kind of cool, So I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out. But worst case, I know I'm pretty resourceful, and, I know a lot of people now, so I could reach out to other resources, because I was very nervous. I was like, if it doesn't work, I have a backup plan, essentially.
Right.
The mindset that I had. And to get in there and find out, I'm like, oh, I got to change my clothes and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like all these extra things I had to do. Well, then I found out that, I'm literally still wearing the same outfit that I did when I started over 2 years ago. Nobody's mentioned it. So it was like, okay. And it's like, to go into there and click a button, teleport where you need to be, right in front of the person you need to talk to. And every time I like love going in there. I love it. I just think it's incredible. I've never had a bad experience. If they don't know, they find out who does. They put you in the right place. They call you back. Like, I got kicked out of the world a couple times in a row once, and then my cell phone rang and there was the broker. Like, hey, let's finish this way. So it's not like it's a scary place where you're wandering around and don't know where to go.
Right.
So
you're not lost in a world. So. But it's cool because it's accessible. And Andrea, before we dive into all things Icon, let's talk about your work-life balance. How do you manage it all? How do you draw the line between work and play, and set boundaries with clients and, colleagues, when it's an industry that can swallow you whole if you let it?
Yeah. So I quickly found out in the beginning, there were a couple of things that I stand true to. And one of them is don't get attached to the outcome. So you're not having to constantly chase that adrenaline rush to make sure that something happens. Like, it's not that serious. People go home at 5 o'clock, and it's okay if you do too. And you need to know that. Now, if you're working specifically with buyers and you're in a crazy market, then you might have to work some evenings and weekends. So just set that time aside and say, well, I'm going to work Tuesday and Thursday in the evening, but that's it. Or, I'm going to be home by 6, or I'm only going to work until 8 once or twice a week, and just find what works for you and then stick with it. And then make sure you put it, my thing is I put it right on my calendar. I put it right on my voicemail. So it says when I'm available, and people know I may or may not call them back until the next time. And then if I want to work later into the evening, I can. But if I want to just turn my phone off or shut the computer and go in the other room, hang out with the kids, go to the ball game, jump in the pool, whatever.
Right. It's fun to have that sense of freedom, and that's why a lot of people get into it. But you
Yeah,
also have to hold yourself to a certain level of accountability as well.
absolutely. Yeah.
And Andrea, do you have, anybody that has helped you be able to take your business to the next level, right? Like, have you leveraged out anything as far as like an operations manager, a personal assistant, virtual assistant?
Absolutely. And I kind of wish that I would have met you guys a while ago, because I do have 3 virtual assistants actually that work on my team. And I love them. So I'm not getting rid of them.
Yes. No,
But
I don't blame
when
you.
I'm ready to grow, I'm coming to you. So
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
yeah, for sure.
But
So
we love that sense of loyalty to them as well. So Andrea, tell me, what were some of those first tasks that you took off your plate to kind of help you go to the next level? Because I'm sure relinquishing control of that stuff to a complete stranger across oceans is a little scary. So tell me, how that really helped you and your thought process in relinquishing control of some of those things.
Well, to be completely honest, the first time I was told, "Oh, you should hire a virtual assistant," and I'm like, "What does that even mean? Like, how is somebody going to help me when they're not even here? That doesn't make sense, you know?"
Right.
And so I interviewed, and it was actually Gary Wilson, the guy that signed me up in EXP. And he said, "No, go here, do this, trust me, you'll see." And I'm like, "Well, I already trust you, so I guess okay." So so, I interviewed people. He told me the questions to ask, do the disc assessment, look for, somebody that's a high CS, do all these things. And I found somebody that I really liked, and her name is Hazel. And I'm like, "Oh, that's beautiful. She's so cool." So I got on a video chat with her. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm doing this. This is so cool." And then, to find out what they're looking for, and to know that, you're not just hiring somebody at a wage and doing all these things, but you're actually making a difference in her life.
Yeah.
And she is still with me. It's been almost 2 years, and I've hired 2 others since then. One of them's been with me over a year. They're so faithful. They're so committed. They're so appreciative. And we just have an amazing relationship with my team in general. What we do is we communicate on a daily basis. And it's just every day to see that face, to hear that voice, to know here's the tasks, anything and everything you can imagine. Sorting emails, organizing things on your Google Drive, following up on some, not leads per se. Obviously, they can't do agent work, but anything that's on the list in your state for unlicensed assistant work, they can do, and they're great. They're great.
Absolutely. I love that, Andrea. And, what were some of the things that you leveraged off with your virtual assistants that, you were able to kind of take a step back from and focus on other things like money generating things or lead generation, just a few tasks off the top of your head that were some of the first to come off your plate?
Yeah. So a lot of the content creation was one of the first things to come off, being able to keep up with the social media world, because that's tough.
It is.
and there are so many things going on. So that was one of the first things. Probably the biggest thing so far is that I have actually hired my full-time transaction coordinator. He's been with me for over a year now, and he is just a machine. He knows every client. He knows every title company. He's never late, doesn't miss an email. I mean, it's just, and I'm just CC'd on everything. And I'm just every day just in awe, just going, wow, that's done. Wow, that's done. Holy wow. Like, it's mind blowing, and it's just constantly in your face. So, what I would recommend is to let that go and put it in the hands of somebody that will love that job for you. And then just be CC'd on it so you can stay in that constant state of gratitude and just appreciation. Like, oh my God, this, and just know that you're making a significant difference in that person's life. It's so
incredible. I love that, Andrea. That was a great summary and awesome conversation point. And now we'll talk about you and all things Icon, because you're an Icon agent on the Icon podcast. So Andrea, let's talk production. You're in Venice, Florida. So what does that average housing price look like to you out there? And how many homes do you have to be able to sell to cap?
Oh, that's a good question. We've got a very unique business plan. So my answer is going to be a little bit different, but I would say, I should have done my homework.
No, you're okay.
So probably 400 to 450 right now is about our average home price. As far as how many to cap, oh boy, I'd have to do the math like super fast. I'm not gonna, because I feel like I'm on the spot. So
give me a spitball there.
Okay. So with us, what we've done a lot of vacant land. So we've
Uh-huh.
sold over 300 vacant lots in the last year. And then
Oh,
we partnered
wow.
up with builders and done new construction on top of some of the houses and condos and all different kinds of stuff. So, but yeah, as far as the icon, like I didn't even know what that meant at first because I'm just about ready to hit my 2-year anniversary with EXP on September 1st. But I was just going and going and going, requesting DAs, and got a conversation from one of the brokers that said, please stop requesting split DAs because you're about to cap. And I said, oh no, I've already capped. But what do you even mean? Like, I'm not sure. I'm confused. And she said, no, you've already capped it. You're about to hit your second cap. And I'm like, there's 2? Okay. So like, what do you need from me? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, So she said, just slow down. Like wait till it gets closer to closing because one of these are going to push you over the edge and then we have to redo them all. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And I'm still thinking second cap. Okay, whatever. I'm not sure, so I just kept going. And then you're like, okay, you did it. And then I got an email and it said, welcome to Icon. And then all these people are calling me and emailing me. And I'm just like, okay, what is this icon stuff? So I'm like looking it up and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing in the world. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. And I just had
It's got
to
a
take
bunch of benefits. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's something that's like so one of a kind. A lot of other brokerages offer awards, but you have to pay for your own plaque and all these things. And it's really, there's no monetary value in a lot of those, but with EXP there is. And before we get into all the benefits, Andrea, tell me a little bit about your cultural commitment. So you can be a coach, a mentor, a teacher. You can vet other icon agents. So what is your cultural commitment and why do you choose to go with that?
So I was actually brought in as a certified mentor shortly after I started EXP. I was having a conversation in the world with, I don't even remember who I was talking to, if I'm being honest, and that's terrible. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I chose Pat Schneider, I believe. But anyway, we were having this incredible conversation, and she's like, "You would make a really good mentor." And I'm like, "I don't know anything yet." And she goes, "No, but your passion and your depth, she's going on." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds fun. Okay, sure, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So when I got the icon, they also said, well, you already meet the cultural commitment requirements for icon, being a certified mentor. And then of course at Shareholder Summit, where I think you and I met there, that was when they had announced that they were going to be changing and doing the points and stuff. So I'm going to be making some changes. Yeah, I'll switch it up a little bit, do some different stuff and make it fun. But for so far, that's what I've done is the mentorship.
Yeah. And, the point system seems fun too, because you can kind of dedicate yourself to different sectors of it and kind of spread your wings a little bit more as far as the culture at EXP. And now, the Icon Award has many great benefits. You get that cap back in stock. You have the opportunity to go to shareholders in EXP for some stock. You get a big glass shiny trophy, an awesome reputation, easy to catch referrals. It is an elite status. So Andrea, what is your favorite part of being an Icon agent? Why do you continue to set that as a standard for yourself year after year?
I think it became a really big eye opener. Like, I decided I was going to do this and I was all in before I started. I set it up to be at the right time. And I've just been full speed ahead, so much so that I guess I feel like humbly, once you're recognized for something before you even know it's a value, it must be pretty darn important. So it kind of brought my focus around and I'm like, okay, this is great. Like I already loved EXP. I love them that much more. Like, does it get any better? And then I went to Summit and I'm like, oh my gosh, it gets better. And I've had other recognitions and awards and nominations since then. And it just feels like it's just manifesting itself on top of itself. Just beautiful.
Yes.
So I'm already signed up to go to Icon. I've got the Icon only event one there. Like we're doing this, and so it just, it's hard to explain, like just because.
Yes, absolutely. No, I get it, Andrea. And EXP Con's going to be awesome. And it's just that sense of community and culture and collaboration and the continuous learning process in an industry that's forever changing and adapting. And Andrea, for somebody that is looking to come over to EXP, or they are a rookie in the industry, maybe they've been in the industry for a while and they just switched to EXP, what does iconing in their first year look like to them? Is that possible? What are some goals to set out on there or some major mistakes to avoid?
I think all things are possible. Absolutely. I think if you're driven enough and you're compassionate enough and you're willing to stand on the shoulder of giants and you're willing to do what other people have already failed at and do it the way that they found out, even if it's uncomfortable, in order to be able to grow, I think you can do it absolutely in your first year. And all you have to just stay focused, stay on it, use the resources that are there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything is done and it's just right there for you. So absolutely, it can be done. It's a mindset.
Absolutely. And holding yourself accountable and being a self-starter, all the resources are there for you in EXP world and the mentorships that are available to you. And Andrea, were you ever skeptical of EXP, right? We touched on this earlier, but to a lot of people, it seems too good to be true. Or like you said, a pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing, a cult. So how did you kind of get over that fear?
I just decided that what Gary's team was doing was worth the risk. I was sad because I loved my broker and I heard about the whole break up with your broker thing. And I thought this is going to be sad, but it'll be okay. And then you find out who's in it with you for the long haul. So it's like, sometimes you kind of just need to know who your friends are, and if you can still be friends and work at different brokerages, that's awesome. And if you can't, then it wasn't meant to be. So, exactly. There was a lot of that, but there was a lot of skepticism. And I just thought, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I mean, I'm doing well. I look up to this person. I already view him as a mentor. I trust him. And if he thinks this is the next right move for my career, then I'm going. Because shortly before, I had a disturbing conversation with my past brokerage. When they first come in, they score you and they do like the disc assessment type stuff. But everybody, the brokers have their own versions. And I never got the results. And so I pestered and pestered. I'm like, how'd I do? What is it for? What are you doing? And then I finally was able to spend some time with a higher up to go through this whole thing with me. And at the end of the day, it screamed, you're going to be a broker. You're going to be a team leader. And so, but I felt like almost like I was trying to be held back. And I just said, well, that's great. That's like spot on. I said, because what I want to do is have this incredible team and it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be not only all over Florida, but in Michigan, where I came from. And it's going to be all over the country and maybe even all over the globe. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's silly. That's called an expansion team. And yeah, you're not ready for that. And I thought, first of all, nobody tells me I can't.
Right.
So it was like right after that little nudge where I was just like, okay, just stay focused on what you're doing. That'll matter later. But it was a seed he planted, and then when I had that next call with Gary, he's like, oh, you can do that at EXP. And I'm like, game on, let's go.
Heck yeah. And one cap too, for all the different states. That's so exciting. And yeah. Andrea, for somebody that's watching right now and they see that you're loving EXP, they see their friends are loving EXP, they see very successful agents coming over, success leaves breadcrumbs, right? So what would you have to say to them to kind of ease them about them thinking it's a pyramid scheme, it's a cult, rest assured, if you come over here, it's not too good to be true. Everything that we are promising to deliver you is going to be delivered.
Yeah, I'm not making it up. It's true. It's real. It's awesome. It's not too good to be true. It is true. It's everything about EXP, honestly. And trust me, I am very good at picking out things that I don't like or that are wrong, or I'm nitpicking like, oh no, fix that, and I'm just like, my mind is blown on a regular basis. So take the risk. If you don't like it, go back. Your broker will take it back. If they don't, then I can't even.
You're not selling your soul. You're just changing what your license is hung up on, and that's okay. Yeah.
Just go and be around people with smiling faces and just, oh my gosh, just everything wonderful. Like, just go do it. Just give it a try. If you don't like it, then you can always go back or move. Nobody's tying you in. There isn't like a lifelong commitment that you sign or anything. You can move your license at any moment.
Yep. Absolutely. So. That was well said, Andrea. And I know you're going to EXPCon, so I'll plan on seeing you and catching up with you there. But in the meantime, is there anything you'd like to leave the listeners with as we wrap it up today?
I think what you're doing is awesome. I appreciate you inviting me to come on here. I definitely look forward to seeing you again. But yeah, keep doing it. And if you guys, if you are like most agents and you're really just struggling to get your day-to-day done, take on a virtual assistant. It's well worth it. Even if you go slow and then warm up to it, it's worth it. I mean, so much so that, I'm up to 3 of them, and the amount of workload that we can get on. I mean, we made Icon, so
Amen. And are you the best at it if it's not getting done, right? So take that off your plate and get it leveraged out. And you got to spend money to make money. And I think that's a great note to wrap up on, Andrea. So thank you so much for your time today. And I will see you in Vegas.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.